Mushihimesama version 1.5 is my first one credit clear. And even though there are a lot of guides adeptly composed by way more qualified players, I thought maybe there'd be some value in doing a little commentary on my 1cc with brand new players like me in mind. Players that are maybe seeking their first 1 credit clears. And this is a really good game to do it. I think it really has not just simplicity in mind. The scoring is quite simple. The mechanics are quite simple. You know, you have a focus shot that gives you high DPS at slow movement speed, and a wide shot auto fire, which gives you lower DPS but more coverage and higher movement speed. That's really it. It also teaches you fundamentals. I think it really does a good job training you in what to look for, which I'll talk a little bit about throughout the replay. This took me about 20 hours to get, like a good 3 weeks. 3 solid weeks of grinding before I got it last night. Okay. There's a stage 1. There isn't that much to talk about. I feel like if you've played games before, you're going to be able to clear this without dying after a few tries. But because I played it so many times, where I'm looking is not my character, but the top of the screen. And I'm using the shots to figure out where my ship is relative to them. When the patterns get a little more dense in later stages, I tend to look around maybe like 1 or 2 character lengths up from my character. And then when the bullets are at their densest, especially during times when you can induce slowdown, I'm looking directly at my character, directly at the hitbox that's legible right now. That green floating gem in the middle is made visible when you use your focus shot, and that is the point at which an intersection with a bullet or obstacle will kill you. Really nice of Cave to make that visible for you. Really handy for new players. Yeah, this is nothing too threatening here. You just want to be moving a lot back and forth, defaulting to your full auto shot rather than your focus shot, because mobility is going to be way more important than damage per second in the stage part, in most stage parts. This first boss does have a tricky shot. I pick up Trace here by accident, but I make it work. So you'll notice how I went to the corners of the screen first. That's because the first few shots that he shoots track. And one way to leverage the corners is not to hide there. That's a bad habit that I'm still trying to break. But to bait the bullets that track you toward the edge so they spend less time on screen. And whereas that's a fixed shot. That's going to be the same no matter what. It's not relative to your position at all. Yeah, here if you spread your shot out, whether you have focus or trace, you can kill all the little guys that he spawns. And then from there, it's pretty much a wrap. Yeah, I do like, even though I got traced by accident, I do kind of like it for this stage because of these dandelion tree guys. With the trace, with the way it follows behind you and shadows you, you can train them on the dandelion guys while you deal with other threats, like that. And I think I'm going to try it. Yeah, see? It's useful. Again, not a super challenging stage, but you can put yourself in must-bomb situations by not dealing with these guys efficiently, and Trace is a good way to do that. You can also get very close. I don't remember if I tried. This was my last run of the night, so I'm playing really conservative. Not worried about score at all, but if you get really close to them, you can make them shoot amber, the gem stuff. And that will get you more score, which gets you to your extends a little bit quicker. Although if you no-miss a couple of bosses, you're gonna like pick up a ton of them no matter what. Here, yeah, if you have a faster ship like M or S, you can dodge between those volleys, any of them. If you have W, maybe just do the first one and don't try dodging the rest because W's movement speed is a lot slower. Those yellow moth guys are a good example of both kinds of shots. They have a tracking shot that follows you and a fixed shot that just spreads the same no matter what. These sand dune kind of guys, if you are interested in playing for score, they're a good place to start developing a feel for it because you can get really close to them and tell when you're point blanking, which is shooting something close to get more score. It's a central mechanic of Maniac mode. It's not really as important here, but that doesn't mean you can't practice it. I think here I'm going to switch to formation, or keep formation rather. This boss isn't too bad. If you shoot the legs off early here with your focused shot, you can make the rest of it a bit easier. Sorry about the frame rate. I don't know what the capture is doing right now. Here, yeah, that's not too... Here, if you follow him to the right a little bit before cutting left, you can get the bullets to spread out a bit and make them, well, and make them a little more manageable. I don't know why I bombed there. Not only did I bomb, you can aim your bomb shots. It's not random where they end up. And if I had held up on the stick when I bombed, then I could have shot it actually at the boss for more damage rather than just like flopping it into the middle of the screen. But no matter where you shoot it, you get invincibility for a long time, kind of a crazy amount of time. So it's still useful to do. This bit. Here, if you go up to the right and then wait for 3 shots and then cut to the left on the third. Notice how diffuse the bullets are by the time they get to you. It makes it much easier to dodge. So I usually try that, and then if it looks like it's going poorly, I'll just bomb. And then once you see this pattern, it's kind of a wrap. Just focus fire. Here I'm looking at my ship's hitbox at the green gem as those slower bullets make their way. The slower the bullets go, the closer my gaze tends to be directed toward my ship itself. Got the no miss, so that should put me in a spot to get the extend at, I think it's 5 million right here. This is where the game starts. If I die before the end of these mosquito guys, then I'm resetting. But at this point and beyond, I try to really get in the habit of playing through a run, even if I die. Because, you know, you're never going to get the perfect run. So you have to kind of start training your awareness for different kinds of situations, resource-wise, in terms of lives and bombs. Here I'm holding down the focus shot to really abuse the slowdown that comes with it. If you hold it down, the screen fills with so many bullets that the game can't quite handle it and has to slow down to compensate it. And that becomes really abusable, especially in version 1.5. Not so much in version 1.0. I think this is maybe what makes 1.5 a little bit easier, even though there are more bullets, is that you can exercise greater control to slow them down. Here you want to follow those guys to the right with you, and then you do the same when they come back. I find going in the direction of those 3 mosquitoes when they spawn is the easiest way to deal with them, even though I'm pretty sure I'm going to mess it up right here. Yeah, see how I hung that guy? I let him live, and then I had to bomb because these carapace, or whatever they are, parts, absorb your bullets and make it difficult to kill those mosquitoes if you don't do it immediately. Here I'm just going left and right, in and out of this column of bullets while I deal with the guys on the side. If you just go left and right really slowly, you can give yourself good visibility to carve some tight paths between the bullets by using the slowdown afforded by focus shot. Here you just got to trust in the bullet cancel. So that looks scary, but I know I'm going to get the explosion on that thing all the way to the right. And when I do, it's going to clear all the bullets on the screen. So when you're routing your runs, meaning kind of memorizing about where you want to be, you definitely want to learn where the bullet cancels are. Learn which of the bigger enemies are going to eliminate all the bullets on the screen when you kill them. Because that's basically like a free bomb, albeit a very conditional one. Like here, for example, I know these are going to give me a cancel, so I'm not that worried about obstacles. You're just kind of trusting in the cancel, and there it is. And I'm being careful not to hold down when I'm in auto shot, because that's going to contract my options toward the center and concentrate my fire. And I want a really wide shot right now. So I make sure they're wide before locking them into position for focus shot. Really advantageous to do in this stage. Yeah, see, I was waiting for the power-up to change to formation so I didn't get trace again, and I died doing it. But at least I still have formation here. Trying to keep it wide to cover as much space as I can. Bombing liberally. You can, well, actually don't. That bomb is a trap. That bomb, you might collect it incidentally, but otherwise, just ignore it unless you clear the screen somehow and give yourself a way to get it. It's so dangerous. Look what it's behind. It's mean. Really a cruel trick. But I think I'm going to bomb soon, and then I'm going to rush over and get it anyway. Yeah, I got myself into a corner. These guys aren't too bad. Okay, for this part, you want to kill both of these claws without destroying the head. It's hard to do without bombs, so I try to make sure I have 2 bombs left at this point. I don't go below that part unless I die by accident and get them restocked. Because the bullet pattern is just so dense, and because training mode is so limited, there's no really practical way to practice this. So I just will bomb the right claw as soon as that pattern starts, and then bomb again to get to the left, destroy that one, and then go destroy the head for the 1-up. Here it comes. You can see the path when it appears. It's not impossible to do without a bomb, but at this point it's starting to get pretty deep into the run, and I don't want to take a lot of risks. I have the resources to burn, so why not burn them? And then now that those are done, you shoot the head to get the 1-up. This fight went really well if I remember, even though I don't have any bombs. So here are these fixed shots that are going left and right. You want to kind of cut to the left to bait the tracking shots out. Yeah, see, I got a good path by kind of tricking him into shooting left. This isn't too bad. You kind of want to wait for a column to appear, and then you want to slowly inch your way to the right, just like that. Inching right, inching right. Here's another spot to wait for 3 shots and cut left while holding auto. And if you do, look how diffusely the bullets are now, all the way to the left. Much easier to dodge. So I try that, and if it goes bad, I bomb. This is my favorite pattern, maybe in the game. Because I have M-shot privilege right now, my ship is fast, so I can cut when he contracts the bullets on the small one. I'm going right, a U-shape, then I'm cutting. I'm going to do a U-shape, wait for the small one, cut back left, and keep doing it. Being sure to hold focus shot in, and then hold down, the direction down, to pull in all my options, to concentrate the laser right below him, to do as much damage as I can. Because if you don't deal with that one quickly, it actually does get out of hand. It becomes very difficult to dodge the longer he does it. But that was nice. No bombs used on that one. When you're routing the stage, when you're making a plan, use training mode to learn where those locust hives are, or grasshoppers, or I don't know quite what they are, but they're the guys who sort of hang out under the cave ledge, and there's a lot of them, and they can pollute the screen. These guys. They can make it... That wasn't too bad, only like 8 bullets, but if you let them linger for any longer, they can really fill the screen with difficult to dodge bullets, and you'll find yourself in a must bomb situation. Here they are again, trying to get to them quickly. Wasn't too bad. And no, well, that was bad. But aside from anticipating where the hives are going to be, I'm just sweeping left and right, trying to default to full auto when I can for the most coverage, while keeping my formation as spread as possible. I don't know why I bombed there. I think I just sort of had the bombs to burn. Yeah, look at how keeping the wide formation can deal with multiple of these beetle guys at once. And then every now and then, when the screen starts to get crowded, I'll switch to focus to slow it down. Okay, that was actually an accident. I did not route for trace for the rest of the game at all, but that's what I wound up with. And it worked. This is a tough pattern. I usually bomb here. You can see how small the gap is. If you have S for your ship, it might be a little bit more manageable, but if you've got a bomb to use, I'd recommend using it at the end there. And then now I'm trying to use full auto shot, because when you do, your trace, again, lags behind you and gives you very wide coverage, even wider than formation. But then again, the downside is when you pull in a focus shot, they all concentrate around you and really limit your coverage, but boost your DPS. This is the best part of the game. I love these kind of R-type-y dragonfly guys. And I learned to do your best to quick kill the head. Because when you do, you can fly over it and give yourself a lot of room to work. Like, look how much room I have. But if you collide with the head before you kill it, it does have a hitbox. It will kill you. See, now I can just fly over it. I can pick off the rest of it, and then when you kill the tail, you get a bullet cancel. Here, I'm not sure if the tail would have hit me. That also has a hitbox, but I didn't want to risk it. I didn't know one way or the other, so I used my last bomb. And now I'm going to go for this tail, because even though I was in trouble, I knew the tail came with a big bullet cancel that allows you to fly back to a safer spot. And then after this island passes you on the left, you want to go to the right. That's where the fewest threats are. All you have to deal with is the head that shoots 3 bullets at once. And you can kind of pick away at the rest. And if you don't get the kill on them, it's fine. If you're not playing for score, they just kind of meander off screen. I don't know why I still have trace at the end of this, but it ended up working so well I might be like a trace convert. This pattern's okay, but the next one you want to bomb immediately. Because the faster you bomb it right there, the less time you have to deal with that pattern and this one, which is also a bit difficult. Those little notches on the top of the screen, those signify when he's going to switch shot patterns. Usually the one in the middle comes with a bullet cancel, so you get that explosion. And once you pass, there's another one. Now his next shot is going to be different. That's not too bad. There's a huge safe spot in the middle. So you just run up and point blank him as long as you can, and then if you use focus to inch back before that big wall of bullet comes, you can usually get the kill before you have to deal with negotiating that pattern at all. This one, at this point, the run's going really good. My hands are sweating. I think I let this whole score screen rock, so you're gonna have to be patient throughout this. I'm wiping off my hands. I'm shaking a little bit. By far the best I've ever done. Even though I have trace, which I wasn't really practiced in. But look how much it covers, though. Look at the ground if you use full auto and just sweep. And this stage gets busy, too, so the utility of the sweep really bails me out toward the end. Maybe not so much there. These big leaf things, Desmond called them toilets. I'm never going to be able to see them the same way again. But those come with a big bullet cancel. So although their pattern looks really scary, if you just hunker down with focus shot, then it's going to be his problem before it's yours. See, I'm just going to... It looks bad, but eventually you get the cancel and you can go back to a safer spot. Here I know about where these grasshoppers or mantises are going to spawn, so I can get quick-ish kills on them before their pattern gets to be too much to handle. I think it looks bad, but then I'm trusting in the cancel and eventually you get it. Just switch to your concentrated focus fire there. It both slows it down and hastens the arrival of the cancel that will save you. And then after the mid boss is where the spiders come, and you definitely want, when you're using training mode, one thing that's useful to learn is where the big threats are going to spawn, so you can start shooting there even before they're on the screen. I'm going to try to make this go back to formation, and then, oh yeah, I actually got it. This guy is really not... I got a little lucky there, but even with bombs, I try to do this guy without bombing them. He's like a little preview of the final boss and the intersecting bullet paths. Here, so I know the spider is going to be coming up, and I want to get a head start on him. The spiders also come with a big bullet cancel. There he is. There's our boy. Yeah, look how much of a mess he makes. So, by getting the jump on him, I didn't even really have to worry about that pattern because I knew the cancel would happen before the bullet would come close to me. I think I do eventually forget where I lose track. But yeah, those spider locations, you definitely want to learn where those are going to be. You don't need to feel pressure to memorize the whole game, but you just figure out where your weaknesses are, where you kind of have to bomb for bosses, and then where the big threats are going to spawn. And you absolutely want to save a bomb for the very end of the stage. And there's the part where I don't know how you do it without one. Without at least one. Yeah, and here I'm holding focus fire to just abuse the slowdown. Much stronger tactic in 1.5 than version 1.0. But it does make runs quite a bit longer. Yeah, here I kind of knew about where he was going to be, so I got there in advance and got the cancel. These guys, I'm trying to bait their tracking shot away from the center of the screen so that their shots spend as little time on screen as possible. That I don't know what happened there. I knew where he was going to be and I just flew away from him before he was dead. I don't know if I expected him to, I don't know what was. You don't want to do that. Yeah, see these beetly guys, I'm baiting the tracking shot to the side to get that away from the center of the screen, which is going to be the most advantageous spot for me. And yeah, that was the spot where I don't know how you do it without a bomb. My goal was to get here with this exact quantity of resources, with 2 lives, full bombs, because 6 bombs basically does him in. You almost don't have to play the video game at this point. But I do want to try a little bit, at least for the first life. I'm just launching. I'm trying to use the stick to aim the bombs at him, to not just get invincible frames, but to do some damage with the bomb, which are not super powerful offensive tools in this game. And then here, for these patterns, I'm looking directly at the ship. I'm switching from focusing in the inches around my ship to that glowing green orb to be able to dodge that pattern and stay in those pockets. Although I messed this up, it is more doable than it seems. See, if I had just cut toward the middle spot there, I could have survived, but instead my bad habits manifested and I sought refuge in the corner, and it was not a good place to be. But if you abuse focus shot there, you can sneak between the bullets and stay in that center pattern if you bait his tracking shots or to the edges of that. That was it. That's the game. That's Mushihimesama version 1.5. I learned a lot of portable skills from this game. And one is, again, distinguishing from fixed bullets and tracking and trying to bait the tracking away, learning how to properly use corners by doing that rather than trying to turtle there away from bullets. It's not a safe spot to be. It's more of a preemptive tool than a reactive one. Learning how to use training mode, which is not a tool for setting the expectation that you're going to do everything you practice perfectly, but just getting a feel for when you're going to have to bomb so you know how many bombs you need to take to this or that boss or a spot. When you set rules for yourself like that, I feel like it's alleviating a lot of your mental stack. You have less to think about if you just have a rule you have to obey, and not having to do that mental work, I think, is going to free you up to react and plan a little bit better in the moment. That was a fun game. I would say get it. It's a good first game, but I think it's as good a last game too. Ultra mode and Maniac mode are just not something that are going to be achievable for me, but for more advanced players, or if you want to keep playing the game, it's there. The amount of depth is really pretty staggering. I don't know. I hope this was maybe useful to someone. If not, then at least it's a ledger of what I was able to do at one point before my dexterity and mental state deteriorated past the point where I could ever do something like this again. But I feel pretty good. That's it. Thanks.